Good morning, y'alls. Welcome to another glorious day here at Sagefire Studio out in the high desert. My name's AJ. Let me show you today's weather. It's still smoky outside, and yes, that is the sun beaming in. It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. It is early August. And let me see if that will, other than the lines in the painting, that is today's subject that we're going to be working on. Yeah. That thing is crooked. I swear to, don't ever buy cheap stuff, because you get cheap quality craftsmanship. My easel is one of those simple tabletop easels. I had to practically take that thing apart and redo it because everything was all wompy-jawed. And I mean really wompy-jawed. And I couldn't get things to move or properly, and I should have gotten something a little bit better quality. Early morning painting, yes. It's good to get in the studio in the mornings. Have you ever had one of those paintings where you started it, it doesn't seem finished, you don't know how to finish it, and you put it in the corner, and it just kind of hangs out for a couple of years? That's what this painting is, and it's gone through quite a few different layers. So, yeah. And I think I'm finally starting to get it where I feel like it can be completed. Though, it could be one of those things where, sorry, I just saw a vehicle go by that seemed kind of oddball shaped, but it's like it's a utility truck that kind of reminds me of something out of Star Wars. Okay, whatever. My window faces the road, so nonetheless. What was I thinking? Oh yes, long lost paintings. I think what it is when you get an idea in your head about how to do something, you have that thought, but when you start working on it, it sounded better, or it seemed better in your head than it did on canvas. So even though you got it down to where you think you got it, it just doesn't seem to be working right. And so this piece has gone through quite a few layers of experimentation. It's 20 by 20 inches, and originally I wanted it to be kind of an abstract piece of bands of green in different textures. And then as I started looking at the subject matter more and more, it didn't seem to quite flow right. And so it is eventually turning back into a landscape as it originally was. This is a little valley area not too far from where my husband and I renewed our vows. I took a photograph of this area when we were looking for a venue for our wedding. But anyways, I was up on a hillside looking down into this valley, and this is what I saw. And I liked these bands of colors, and basically all these bands were separated by fence line. And I wanted to kind of get like an abstract piece going with that, and it never seemed to really look right. Because I'd get like the background in, and then I'd start going to the foreground, and then it just didn't seem right in redoing the background, so on and so forth. So I recently went up to the same area, and I took a photograph from there, and then that is where this little guy came in. This is a study of the same area, probably a different photograph, different idea, or it's the same area, but you know, it's got the same basic idea of what it is. And so I figured I'm just going to turn this studio piece into the landscape that it is, or so on and so forth. So this is what we will be working on today. I know I haven't had a chance to show you the entire process, but it's been, I had this thing for like 3 years now. And it's just one of those things where it just never felt right or felt finished. So I've been working on it, working on it, working on it. And then I think one thing that has really helped with the way this is, I love this right here. This is very textured. It's I repainted the undercoat is actually bands of pink, and then you could actually see it coming through in certain areas, the pink, and like right there I did different values and hues of pinks and reds in here, and then started layering on the greens. And this right here is just molding paste, simple heavy gel paste put on with a rubber brush. What is those brushes? Let me show you. One of these guys. I put that on with one of these because it gives that weird texture type substance. And it gives you that illusion of bushes. And then I painted over the top of it the colors I was wanting. And then, just keeping it simple, and then over the top of that, I just scumbled over the top some really awesome, see if you can see this, like metallic cool green color to give you the illusion of that cool green of the sagebrush. And I really like the texture in that. And then of course I simplified the grasses in the foreground. So this is all the texture in the foreground, and then in the background, as it gets further and further away, it kind of softens up. But I've got, this is one field of color, another field of color. I was just wanting to have different layers of texture. And then this right here is actually gravel, and this is sand. So this is gravel in gel medium, and then this is sand instead of gel medium. And from here, because the foreground is going to go back further, I decided not to go with any more texture. However, you do have the texture of the canvas and the previous layers just kind of coming through. And that's one thing I love about acrylics, is how you can build up all these layers, and each layer kind of has, each layer gives volume and depth to the painting. Even though you can't see the color underneath, the texture from that previous layer shows through on the top layer. I don't know, it's just, it's one of those things that I've learned about acrylics that I like, is just the push and pull and all the different things that they can do. So yeah, so, and then with these guys, I got the trees in, and then from here we're just gonna get some simple trees in like we do in the sketch over there. So yeah, but I'm trying to keep this as little texture as possible so that all this stuff stands out more. And I don't know, I could pop in a few lines of weeds in here a bit more, but I don't want to overdo this. This is really nice for what it is. So yeah. sense? Because I started that painting just a couple months after our wedding. Yeah. And then I couldn't quite figure out how to finish it, so. No, I think I'm starting to know where I'm going to be going with my art.